Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we'll be reviewing Strange Darling. Are you ready out there in TV land? I'm not sure you are. Joining me first up tonight from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John to the show.
Home of all the strange darlings.
It's true. I don't know, Rachel might have you beat there. Next up from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up from the Bay Area of San Francisco, please welcome Rachel to the show.
I hope you have multiple generations of all your family members around you listening to tonight's episode.
It seemed like the party might get a little weird tonight, so I brought my ghost face mask on. I just felt like you got to be prepared. That's the number one lesson when you're doing stuff like this, is to be prepared, you know?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to keep track of the lessons that we're going to learn tonight. Number one is be prepared.
I had many thoughts.
Number two, we all remember the safe word, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. I already forgot it. All right, let's do it. Let's take a quick break and review Strange Darling.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
John, do you want to tell the listeners about our text exchange earlier?
Guys, this is a situation where I'm dealing with 3 children. Like, I can barely keep my fucking head screwed on straight, and you all are, like, turning things into things that I was just like, whatever. Have at it. So, yeah, go to town.
Rachel, what's your interpretation of that?
I mean, listen, we knew he was going to know or it, but you can't be sending messages like, the wife's away, come hop on it, and expect me not to break out the redacting pin, okay?
I just wanted to test my microphone before
John,
my 3
going
children walk in the door.
John,
Euphemism alert.
Ready? John, I'm going to be coming in hot later.
Which I did,
tonight,
to be clear.
And then I said, I appreciate you, Schnars. There's no one else I want to review a sex movie with. And then, John, you want to hop on now? Kids will be home in 30 minutes. Rachel, this chat sounds like the beginning of your own sexy movie. And then I responded, I am in the tub watching the movie, ... And then John started getting annoyed.
Yeah.
So, here we are.
Yeah, I honestly don't have the energy for this right now, so let's just get a word in and keep going, please.
Hey, somebody's got his cranky pants on today.
All right, somebody's celebrating Locktober. What the fuck?
Here we are.
All right, John, please bring us the word of the day.
Today's word is poppet. That's P-O-P-P-E-T, poppet. An endearingly sweet or pretty child or young girl, often used as an affectionate form of address. You could say a darling. Poppet. Here it comes from the Latin pupa, P-U-P-P-A, meaning girl or doll. Poppet.
I love it. John, do you know what Locktober is? Because I don't.
I don't know
Maybe
what
Rachel
that
will
is.
tell us.
I'm just waiting for somebody else to ask.
It's when you it is a sub-dom situation where during the month of October, the sub wears a lock. And what's funny is that somehow the straight part of the internet doesn't understand that, and so there's been all these bros thinking it's about working out, and they're like, it's time to lock it in. Yes. But that is not the true spirit of that is not the reason for the season.
I assumed it was some sort of self-denial thing, potentially, like
Well, I wasn't even.
you were locking yourself from
I guess I forgot who I was
pleasure.
talking to, because I didn't think it was that saucy, but here we are.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never heard of it, so.
You don't say, Casey.
Can I?
Lesson number 2.
Do we want to get into some of the kinks? Because like I don't understand when you have one of the
God,
like
wait, so-
lock, like because there's
I'm
like
so
physical
excited for
locks,
this.
right?
Yeah,
Like-
there's a chastity
Yeah.
lock that they actually lock, and the dom keeps
And the other
key.
person has control of it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the question,
Locked
John?
over.
Please, in detail.
What's the bathrooming situation when you are
There's-
wearing?
I believe there's holes in it.
Yeah, there's holes in it. Here,
But it,
I'll
like-
find you a
it,
photo.
like, s-
Don't worry about it.
No. Like I've seen pictures.
No.
I don't need any more pictures. I guess but it's in the presence of the bathroom when you are going to the bathroom, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
You just,
Like if you're sitting on the
Like you're
toilet
peeing
as
through
a or using the
You're not-
backside.
the lock is in the
you know.
front.
You're
So
not
really-
locked to the
Yeah.
chair.
No, John's
like-
thinking like a
It's
medieval.
not the
John-
whole undercarriage.
I understand, but like it's still in the toilet or in the toilet area when you are going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So is your wiener normal?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
You manage,
but you
right?
can like clean that up. I don't know, whatever. All
I
right, we
mean,
don't need to get into
are
it.
you getting in there with a Q-tip, or are you just giving it a shake? Because I would assume the similar
This is-
like
I don't know.
liquid
I don't need to-
dynamics.
I don't need
The
to know
point
more.
is, Shinar, is that it takes commitment.
Yeah,
That's
it
right,
sure
Casey.
does.
That's right. Yeah, you don't do it unless you really want to.
Yeah.
That's probably
Well, yeah.
part of it. To be
Also, that's not
honest.
even in this movie, so I'm fascinated to know how.
I'm mostly just like wanting to keep it clean is what I'm wanting, you know?
I understand. That's
There's
responsible of you, John.
there is potential sprinkler effect going on there.
Sure. It seems obvious.
I
you know?
love this episode already.
Oh Lord, John, tell me about Strange Darling.
Sure. Strange Darling comes to us from writer-director J.T. Molnar. This is JT's second feature from my research here. He previously directed something 2016, Outlaws and Angels. Wrote and directed, I should say, and has done a bunch of shorts. He's got a bunch of short credits. But here we have Strange Darling. Stars, I would say there's two central characters. You have they're introduced, and this is in the opening credits, as the lady and the demon. So the lady is Willa Fitzgerald. The place, and I was texting with Rachel about this, the place I know Willa Fitzgerald from is she's like the love interest, like mean lady character in the first season of Reacher on Amazon, which is excellent, and I highly recommend. But she's been in tons of other shit. I was trying to see if there's other things we've seen.
I knew her from this terrible Scream series. Like, not terrible,
Yeah.
but the Scream series.
Okay. I mean,
The
she's
MTV
done a
thing.
lot. Like she's on a lot of TV shows. She was in the Goldfinch movie, which, but yeah. Check out Reacher. Oh, she was in Fall of House of the Usher. Did you guys watch that? Fall of House of Usher.
Yes. Yeah,
She's one of
she's
the
good
main
in that.
characters in
Yeah.
that. Yeah. She was good. And then the other character, Kyle Gallner, the place, like, he's been acting forever. He was like child actor. He's the one of the main characters in the original Smile, and I guess no, he's not around for Smile 2. Spoiler alert: he does not make it to Smile 2, but he is in Smile 1. But he's also been in a ton of shit. I mean, we've probably seen him. I don't know. Like,
Body.
yeah. He's also great. So here's the thing. The movie opens, there's some things to know about the movie, and then we can kind of like not talk about the plot because you kind of have to like talk about it all at once. It opens with a title card that says something, and I should say, I saw this movie almost a month ago now when it was in the theaters, so just keep me honest for Eric and Casey. I know you've watched more recently. There's a title card that comes on and is basically like, in the Pacific Northwest, there was a
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yeah, there was a serial killer, and like this is the story of their final murders or whatever, like something like that. And so then we open with the lady and the demon, and they are trying to think he's chasing her at this point. Because the other thing that's very important to know about this movie is that it's told out of sequence. It's sort of like a Pulp Fiction homage in a way, where it says, and they tell you it's a film in 6 parts, but we start with part 3. And I think all the parts have names, don't they?
Well, they're like
Yeah.
a piece
Yeah.
of dialogue.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There's
Yeah.
like so I can't remember the exact order. It's like 3, then 2, or 3, then 1, then it like jumps around so that you're sort of like getting this plot
There's
in a
6
very
parts,
disjointed
but it's
way.
non-linear. Yeah.
Correct. So I don't know. I feel like we should stop there. I mean, the movie is about
Yeah.
the cat
think
and
that's
mouse of these 2 characters, and anything further that I would say is going to spoil sort of a lot.
Yeah. Safe to drop the spoiler warning
Yeah.
now.
Rachel, how excited are you for this day, and what did you think?
So
we're
excited.
We're reviewing this because you were like, we need to do this.
Well, I texted you this already, and this is a true story. The credits rolled, and the literal first thought that came to my head was, I cannot wait for Eric to see this movie. Because it is arty in all the ways that you like, it is sexy in all the way that you like, and the female protagonist is problematic in ways I suspect you also like. So I don't know. It could be a case of it being 2 for you. We'll find out. I don't actually know where you landed on it, but I've been very much looking forward to tonight.
Red to filth.
Yeah. See, you said too much. I know it all. But no, I am actually really excited to talk to all of you because I don't know where everybody is going to land. I personally really love this movie because it does this thing that I think people try to do but rarely do successfully, which is take something that is essentially just schlock and treat it like it's high art and elevate it with execution and performances. And I just feel like it was so masterfully done in this case. The color story, like I said, the performances, the shot selection. Like, I am a sucker for a split diopter shot, and that's why I've got it as my background right now. I fucking love that effect. I think I know it's like not in vogue to use it anymore, but I love that this harkens back to this sort of a 70s aesthetic, and it like adds this weird anachronistic flavor to the film that I really appreciated. I like the choice to shoot it all on 35 millimeter and then just weirdly brag about it because why not?
So ridiculous.
Why?
Oh, I wish I had known that.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, there was a title card in the credits that is like the opening credits that says this is shot
It's like
entirely.
shot entirely on 35
Yeah,
millimeter,
it's like,
and I was like,
all right, chill out. You know,
I
we
kind
got
of
you.
I love it because I feel like this movie is not just like it's kind of like
It
a
does have,
celebration.
I understand what you're talking about with the retro vibe. It definitely has a different feel.
Well, I mean, like the fact that she's driving a Pinto, all those kinds of things, like plays with your perception of when this thing takes place. I think we're going to talk about the gender politics of this film. It has been rightfully kind of excoriated on portions of the internet over some of the gender politics in this film. Some of them are pretty regressive and
I
problematic.
can't wait for you to tell us about that because I
You're gonna have to
haven't.
explain all of
Yeah.
this.
Okay, but
Well,
honestly,
let's pin in it though. Pin in it.
yeah.
For...
I mean, I personally don't because women behaving badly is my kink, and I will not be shamed about it tonight. But yeah, and then the other thing I think we have to talk about tonight is the way that it approaches kink. I think the scene in the car, I don't remember which chapter it is, where they're having the scene conversations.
Pretty sure
around
that's like
kink and
that's when
consent.
they're like meeting for the first time, right? That is I think the first chapter.
But it made me realize how rarely that kind of element to kink culture is actually represented on screen. And I liked that they included it, and the way that it was like executed, that it was like not pedantic because it like led to plot device, and it also their chemistry is so freaking hot that it's super, super sexy. I love that scene. This is what it looks like when the bisexuals win. This is the future that we want. And yeah, and also like Ed Begley Jr. and Barbara Hershey were great in this too. I could keep going. I have so many thoughts and feelings about this movie, but I'm gonna end it there because, I don't know. Let's get into it.
Casey.
Well, to follow along Rachel there, I'll start out with dang Kyle Gallner. So I had a brush with grumpy old man at the start of this. I like the title cards and everything, but once they show, this is a story in 6 sequences, and all of a sudden it starts in chapter 3, and then it goes to like chapter 5, and it's back and forth. And at first, I was having trouble wrapping my head around it, which is the point. It's kind of jarring, and I think that's definitely part of it. But then as this unfolded, and it all started to fall into place for me, and I was just kind of blown away by this movie by the end of it. The acting's fabulous all the way around, but the mystery and the twisty story that's being unlaid here is great. And I'll be honest, I fell for most of the gotchas and everything that kind of led you into thinking a certain way, while then they turn that on you and start changing. There was a moment in this movie, since we've already dropped the spoilers though, when they're in the hotel and she's going through his wallet and she flashes his badge, and I was literally out loud doing a oh. It's like whoa.
I love it.
Yeah, I was that wrapped up into it, and this movie just keeps unfolding from there. And that was a fairly minor surprise as we go through this. I thought it was great, and it really got you guessing towards the middle of this, especially once we get to the farmhouse and things started to unfold there, where you don't trust the narrative of what they're showing you there. You're already starting to question it, and you're starting to look for threads and everything. It's just a really great movie. It was engaged, and the acting was great. And shout out to Ed Begley Jr. Love that guy.
Give that
I
man's
didn't ca-
ponytail an
okay,
award.
Yeah,
The worst breakfast I've ever fucking seen.
yeah.
What was
I
in
want a
the can?
prequel. I want a prequel. I want to know about
jelly?
these.
I thought it was jelly.
In a can?
Who knows?
They're
It's either
mountain
that or
preppers.
be.
Yeah.
They're preppers. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so it's
Yeah,
You're
that's
right.
like
I
shelf
want-
stable
want-
jelly.
a prequel about these Bigfoot fearing prepper hippies. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about the Bigfoot angle. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
a Bigfoot hunter.
Well,
So
they were
great.
like running like a radio station. Like, wasn't he doing
Yeah.
a radio show? Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think, John?
So here's, I think I even mentioned this last week on the show when we were talking about doing this. This is going to land in my top 10 for sure. Like, I really enjoyed it. I go back and forth on what he's doing structurally here, because like, on the one hand, it's cool. Like, it like makes the movie more interesting. It's sort of like a cheap device though, that's like
Yeah.
deploy. Well, here's the thing. Like, first of all, and maybe there's an explanation to this, but like deploying the character names. So like, he doesn't just the opening credits aren't just like Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. It's like, she's the lady, he's the demon. So it's like he's like laying it on very thick around this switcheroo that's gonna happen, to the point where like I kind of knew what was going on pretty early, because it's like, it's the only way this movie is going to be interesting is if she's the bad and he's the good.
Once it starts twisting multiple times, then you start going like, oh, okay, they're messing with me, right?
Well,
Like,
but like it also, I guess, the point is like, when they start with section 3, you're like, wait a second, why are they doing this? Like, what is the narrative value of starting and then like jumping around sequentially? And the narrative value is it delays for the viewer the reveal that he wants to withhold. And like, that's fine, but it's like it's just like a weird choice. Now,
oh, I think
it's-
that's the best part of it.
well, but here's the thing: like, the movie doesn't work if it does. I mean, I don't know. There's an interesting version of this movie that's like told sequentially. That's like, it's still beautiful to look at, and like crazy shit still happens. Like, there's still like lots of like wild things that happen. So I don't know. Like, that's where I say, like, I go back and forth. I ended up really liking it. The performances that you get from these two actors, and both of whom I liked coming in. Like, I was sort of, I was like, oh, two people, and
I
like
feel like
let them.
Gallner gets a lot of like supporting roles in horror. It's pretty nice to see him just get something this meaty.
And
Yeah.
and they let him chew on it. Like, she is fucking ridiculous by the end of this movie. Like, the way, like, some of the moments that she gets, if anything, like, he becomes like his performance, I think it becomes almost outshone by hers because it's just she's going so big with it at a certain point.
But their
So,
scenes
yeah.
together are like brilliant.
Yeah, no, they're great. And look, like the kink stuff was great. It was awesome. Like,
Yeah, I think this movie is brilliant. So much of it, like you guys are saying, is about the performances. Kyle Gallner is smoldering, John.
yeah.
He's been in the gym. Let's just say it. Dude is
Yup.
looking good. Also, like, John, he's a fellow short king, and I always have to support.
Oh, is it? I
My
didn't
people-
know. How tall is he? Should I look this up?
I'll tell you right now. Let's look it
How?
up.
I'm on his.
How tall is he?
I got
going to be?
5'8".
He's
I mean,
5'9".
that's-
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But that's Hollywood, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they're basically
yeah, I
the
mean,
same height.
Sure.
I think that the non-linear aspect of it is what makes it so brilliant because it's almost like you ever seen, John, this is the dumbest metaphor. You ever seen like like a lattice of bacon around around like a barbecue thing, then they smoke it?
What?
That's
Sure, go ahead.
What
Continue.
this plot is, because you basically, it opens with the murder scene or like the chase scene, essentially.
The chase, yeah.
It starts
That's
with
its
the
own
choking.
kind of tension, and that's a Hitchcock thing, right? So he's showing us the bomb under the table. We know where it's going. Then it goes to the kind of like I'm gonna naively call this courtship, and that scene, and there's so much tension. So it's like you have tensions. Rachel, you're right.
No, I'm
You
not.
have tensions. Literally, they leaned over to kiss in the car, and I was like, I don't think I can handle this movie. I don't think I can take this. That was like the hottest thing I've ever seen. So you've already got the tension of you know where it's going. Then you have like this extended scene with the two of them, and essentially those two different kinds of tension are kind of like woven together, and they're played with by virtue of the way that it's edited. Like, I'm a huge appreciator of like editing in films. I think it's like an unsung skill that makes it. And like, I really would love to know if this choice was made in the script or in post, because if it was made in post, even if it wasn't, this is a brilliantly edited film, and the choices that they make of when to jump back and forth is what creates this whole fascinating thing. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, and Rachel, I'm interested in, like you're talking about people are upset at it or whatever. It's a pretty fascinating, I think, really pointed kind of exercise in like kink and consent. Like, it's so brilliant that they don't show us the first conversation where they agree upon what they're going to do until after it happens. And so what happens is that you keep going back and forth in the scene. You're like, is he a killer? Well, you think he is. Then you're like, well, maybe not. Then you're like, oh no, he is. Then you're like, oh no, they were just messing around. The rope-a-dope that the film does is like fucking brilliant. In the meantime, it's tense, it's crazy, it's really sexy, and like, there was a part of me that until very late in the film thought that the reveal was going to be that the murder was all part of their agreed upon thing.
I
We're going
agree.
to flash back even
Yes.
further
Yes.
into another conversation about how,
Yes.
like, what if we just fucking went all the way? Like,
I literally
been-
said that to my
been-
son-in-law. I literally said that to my son-in-law that was watching with me in the middle of this movie, that we don't know that they didn't start again and haven't said the safe word.
totally, right? So
Yeah.
this whole thing with the scene with the two of them and the way it's cut, to me it's like lighting in a bottle. It's like really magic filmmaking. I do think that when once we fully understand what's happening, I think you lose that tension a little bit. I kind of wish they had played. I wish that they had continued on in a way that made you continue to feel like you don't know everything yet. Because it almost is a little bit of a different film in the last 30 minutes. It's fascinating. You get a real Nicolas Cage performance here at the end. Well, I forgot her name. What's her name?
Willa
Willa
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah, she's going for it in a pretty crazy way there at the end. But yeah, like it's just really good. It's extremely a memorable film.
So can we get into the controversy? Let's just go into
Yeah,
the
tell
gender
me about it.
dynamic controversy. What are the Looney Tunes on the internet saying, Rachel, that I've been missing out on?
Oh yeah, I actually think that the criticism is fair. I
Okay.
personally don't. The things about it I like kind of outweigh this, but when I was like reading this criticism, I was like, yeah, fuck fair. It's particularly around the way that they weaponize sexual violence. Not necessarily in the kink situation, but when it's revealed that she's actually the perpetrator and not the victim, and it kind of gets into this idea that like behind every sexual assault accusation is a crazy woman, and then later in the film when she uses like rape as a lie to get out of trouble with the police, that's another, it kind of reinforces that idea. And the way that the two police react to it, with the guy being like, I'm using my manly
See,
abilities
but I
Yeah.
thought that was perfect. What they were showing, right, was how
I thought it played
was
well
how
to the story.
these two people reacted so differently to this scenario.
Yeah. I think within the bubble of the film, literally everything makes sense and is understandable. And like I said, I am a fan of this film. But I think when you take it outside the context, it reinforces a lot of ideas and tropes that are problematic and like a significant problem within rape culture. So like those criticisms are fair. Now that we have talked about them, we can shuffle them off and continue with this film.
But the way that the way that their sex scene plays out, like the violence there is pretty intense, but in my memory of it does not ever go over the line, because when she does give the safe word, finally he stops. Like
Well, that's what he is
I give it
painted
10
as
out
a
of 10 for
perfect.
kink.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
he's
love-
painted as a very. Well, I mean, he can come across as threatening, but you watch his actions, and he's coming across as a fundamentally safe male. He's
it
following
keeps-
the guidelines and he's following the rules.
But
and
it keeps
asking for
going back
consent.
and forth because like
Right.
the moments where the tension is almost unbearable is where he does pull back and then she taunts him. And then you feel his like muscle tension almost, like it makes him defensive and
Yeah.
angry, and that's where you're just waiting for like some shit to just go off.
He coils.
That's where the brilliant.
Yeah.
Where I think he's like brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually not where I'm seeing a lot of criticism. I mean, my understanding is like this is actually a pretty decent depiction of kink and like rape fantasy, all of those kinds of things. It's a larger like meta narrative about her unreliability as someone who potentially could be a victim of sexual assault, that like it reinforces the ideas that these claims are false or weaponized.
She's she's a sociopath. Like in the context of the
Yeah.
film, like
Yes,
she's not
within
like
the bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
But that's where it's like,
Rachel,
if
did-
that's the complaint, like
Did
whatever,
you do any
people can
press
say
with
whatever they
the
want.
people
but-
who made this?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Did
what
you do
said.
any press with the people who made this?
No, unfortunately, I did not. I
how-
would love to.
That's how
would
we
love
got
to.
the-
Yeah, I thought that would have been a perfect fit. I was
I
really
agree.
impressed. Inside the bubble, though, like you're talking, I was really impressed with this because it really kind of flips the standard serial killer movie on its head, too. You never see a lot of female serial killer movies, and I think this one was very well crafted where you're surprised by that towards the end, and I think that's a nice twist on the genre, too.
So okay, but so back to this thing of calling her the lady and him the demon. Like, what's that about? Because it feels really cheap in when you
That's-
see the movie. You're just like, wait, why did you have to do that? Like, I would have been confused just because like everyone presupposes that the man is going to be the serial killer. They felt like the need to like, because it's in the credits, it like gives it this like extra layer, I feel like, of
Yeah,
lying. It's like a
I
cheat.
mean, I think it's,
you know,
I agree.
Well, it's
I-
like archetypal is like what he's getting. I mean, I read an interview with JT Molnar, and he was kind of inspired by exploring and flipping archetypes on their head, which is why they don't have names. They just have like archetypes essentially, and then taking those and playing with those, like what is the final girl when the final girl is actually the perpetrator, what is the victim when he is actually like the demon when he's actually the victim. Like there's intentionality behind it that's beyond just simply trying to do a bait and switch. Like the whole point was to explore those archetypes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary, and it's the same with the 35 millimeter card. It's like cool, man, like cool, but also like just like chill out, you know.
I didn't have a problem with those myself, but I can see your point of view. It does kind of like he's setting up.
Well, it's sort of
he's
like
trying to force us into a
Yes,
false.
it's insisting upon the misdirect. It's like
Yeah.
doubling down on the misdirect in a way that you don't have to because the film's already doing the work for you.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like he doesn't trust the movie to like actually carry off the thing that he's doing, which he should because it works in the context of the movie.
Who
So-
made this? Somebody I know.
No, this JT Molnar. It's his second film.
What was his first
I will
one?
say the cameraman. I can't think of the right word. That's not the right word.
Oh, it's I know.
Is
go ahead.
Giovanni Ribisi, which
Yeah.
is interesting. This is like his first film.
I thought
in
he
that
had-
role.
I thought he had done.
Has he
In
done
any
shorts? Or, like, is this his first feature? Maybe
Maybe, yeah. He's credited too, but I didn't know where he.
cinematographer. That's what-
No, but I think he has like an acting credit too. At least
In
I thought I
this?
saw that. Yeah. Oh, it's a voice. He's like he's in the IMDb, and then it's like in parentheses voice Art Pallone. I don't know.
Oh,
He must be like one
I
of the
bet
cops.
he's the radio guy. He's probably the
Yeah.
radio host
Oh,
that's
yeah.
coming over the thing. Because I know the voice that does the like opening scroll thing is Jason Patrick.
That's cool.
Boys.
From Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
another hunk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true crime narrator Jason Patrick. He has
we
this
talk
is his
about-
fifth cinematographer credit according.
Can we
to
talk
IMDb.
about The Breakfast, please?
Oh yeah, no, I did want to.
What, you don't throw a whole ass stick of butter in there?
It's like, what was it? It was like a pancake, right? And then like, where did the butter come in? Was it on it? Right, it was
It's like
on it.
in a pan with the eggs, and he throws like a whole stick of butter into
whole
the
stick of
thing.
butter.
Yeah, he
with
throws
the
a full
eggs.
stick of butter and puts the eggs in,
It's
and
like
then
pancake,
he's got the
fried
sausage on the
eggs,
side.
Fried two like disgusting looking little sausage patties, 2 eggs fried in an entire stick of butter, then like jelly from
it's a
can.
cast iron skillet, which is important, right? Like it's all meant
Yeah.
to
Right.
congeal.
John, my only point is you're not going to feel good. You're not ready to attack the day after that.
You
I
assume
mean, how much
this was
energy
not
do you
their
need to
first
do a
time.
Scott Baio puzzle? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only Ed Begley Jr., but freaking Barbara Hershey popping up
Yeah,
in this.
she's great.
I mean,
Yeah,
she was
great.
great in this.
They got pretty.
What do
I
you
was
rough
so
with
worried
this.
about her throughout
rough.
this movie too. I was worried about Barbara Hershey because Willa Fitzgerald let her off. And, she's like, "I won't hurt you if you tell me this," and she will let her off to a shed, and then we don't see her for a while. And I kept asking him, like, "But what about the old lady? I'm worried about her."
What's
Even
a,
by the end,
what's a Schnarr's breakfast?
I mean, mostly I just have a yogurt because I work out in the morning and I just like to get a
Avocado
little bit of
toast.
protein in there. But
Rachel, how about you?
A cup of coffee. It's terrible.
Oh,
I
you're one of
know.
those. Yeah.
Like 2 cups of coffee.
No
yeah, I mean,
food.
I have a cup of coffee with the yogurt to be
I mean,
clear.
I
but-
have. I have snacks throughout the day,
You're a
but usually,
grazer.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I ate an enormous plate of eggs and some fruit.
Nice. I know. I've
Casey's
seen
just
you
tackling
devour
a whole
fruit
side
plate.
of cow, probably.
nah.
Oh my god!
I'm
that
a
fucking
I'm a
fruit
Jimmy
plate at Bob
Dean
Evans.
I'm a Jimmy Dean sausage, egg, and cheese croissant guy.
Nice.
I will never ever forgive the Midwest for that fruit plate.
That was an abomination. God's country, my ass.
You could go to any grocery store and buy fruit. I don't know why that was a problem. It was like a razor slice of melon and like 3 grapes.
Yeah, it was real sad. I don't even know if you had a cantaloupe, and that's like, usually the trash fruit you always get.
Insane.
I loved the appearance of the Ed Begley Jr. and Barbara Hershey in this when they just kind of show up out of nowhere. Which
It's
when
fun.
you're in your uncertainty, you're automatically starting to wonder: are these people that weird?
It's really fun to have those characters be played by very well-known actors that are incredibly talented because it's just like a
Yeah.
really fun, wacky thing in the middle of the movie.
This is what I mean. Like the film takes the schlock and is like, no, we are going to
schlocky
elevate. We're
enough,
going to
yeah.
cast it the best cast we can get, giving just absolute tour de force performances, and we're going to make it look incredible. We're going to put every bit of artistry into the presentation of this film. We're going to edit it within an inch of its life. But at the end of the day, to John's point about not wanting it, sequentially, I think that this is the most interesting way that you can tell the story. I think if you were to just go straight forward, there's really not a lot of story here. But by taking it out of sequence, it plays with your perceptions instead of just being this kind of straightforward story about a girl tricking a guy and him hunting her down. Like we've seen that. That's not that interesting. Whereas this plays with your perceptions in a way that I think is really fascinating. And I don't know, they took this so seriously, and it is such on paper schlock, and I love them for that.
Well, to the same extent too, you could straighten this movie out and put in the twist with Willa Fitzgerald, but it's going to come across as kind of cheap and gimmicky in the straightforward movie versus the way non-sequential one.
It comes at the end of Act 1, versus here where they get to basically delay it to the end of Act 2, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe it's midway. I can't even remember now, but because it's basic, you know what's going on as soon as she poisons him, because then he's like really incapacitated and she's like actively trying to kill him.
Yeah. What'd she carve in his chest?
EL.
Initials.
Electric Lady.
Yeah.
That is a great name.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing this movie does really well, I feel like, is it gives you it builds develops character really economically. You pretty much know who everybody is, aside from obviously the twists and turns of these two lead characters, really quickly. Like the Barbara Hershey character, even the guy with the gun in the hotel with them. Like on site, you kind of know these characters. And it's impressive in that they feel very fully realized, even though they only, especially Barbara Hershey and Ed Begley Jr., feel very fully realized, despite really having a very, very small amount of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? If I had my own Art Bell style radio show, I'd play it on loudspeakers around my house too.
I listen to my own podcast every week, Casey.
I don't.
Yeah, I know.
I said
Next
that in a
step,
meeting
Eric.
the other day at work when somebody was talking about not wanting to listen to their show, and I was like, can't relate.
Couldn't be you.
They're like,
Next
who wants to
step
listen to
is-
their own voice? I was like,
You just need the speakers with the windows open, and
Kinda me.
let the neighbors hear it. They were really out in the middle of nowhere, though. To be clear, the preppers. So
Yeah. Having just been in Oregon earlier this week, it's not unlike that.
all right, y'all.
there's not serial killers running around.
Would you recommend this, Casey?
Absolutely.
Rachel?
Oh boy, and have I already? Yes, I have.
I haven't seen you this worked up in a while, Rachel. Activated.
It's been a
in there.
week, all right? Let me have this.
No, listen, please have it. John,
Yeah. Yes, I would. I have.
I'm also a yes, and I think we're going to do some top 10 on the other side. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
John, I also have a Jason mask and a Michael Myers mask, depending on what you're into. So think about it. And, let me know.
I have a button that Linnea Quigley gave me of herself writing
Ooh.
lipstick.
Lovely.
Nice.
I don't know why that's on my desk, but it is.
info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address. We got an email from Sean from Australia with the title Butts Analysis. It's mostly
Say
stuff.
more.
It's mostly stuff about last week's movie, The Substance, that we already discussed in the episode. But he said, long-time listener, first-time caller, love the show. My go-to horror podcast for a long time, and I have to say the addition of Matilda and the other female contributors has elevated the analysis. I'm about as
Other female contributor.
Welcome, other female contributors.
I'm about as young as you guys, so I get the references and enjoy the laid-back approach with your undeniable love for the genre. I wake up on Friday to find out what you're covering for the week. The movie itself is sometimes a letdown, but the podcast is always enjoyable. Well done to you all. Your work is appreciated.
Wait, what was the butts analysis part?
Oh, literally, it's all questions I was asking on the Substance show last week. Although he did sign it, throwing up a boob, Sean Lynch.
Nice.
Well, thank you for the compliment. Signed, unidentified female contributor.
Yeah, he's going to be mortified.
Look, you weren't on last week's episode. Like, give Matilda her due. You know.
Jace
Shout
says,
out.
no one had ever ordered the fruit plate in the Midwest. You caught them unprepared.
That was 100%
Where
what
did
happened.
they get their
to be
fiber
fair.
from, John?
Wow, not that fruit plate. That's for sure.
Metamucil.
Sticks of butter.
I was like, do you guys poach eggs? They were like, what is this, France? I'm just like, just get me the fuck out of here. I can't do this.
We all 100% knew where that was going the second you asked them about poaching eggs, just to be clear. So,
Oh yeah.
It's a valid, John, it's not hard to cook eggs. I don't care how you're doing it. Like,
but
you're a
that's
restaurant.
that's like the hardest way, I would say, of all the ways.
Do they not have a Benedict though? Like it's a staple of breakfast, is it not?
Thank
Not
you.
in the Midwest.
Yeah, in New York City, you can get an eggs Benedict any which way, but no, come on.
Now, if I wanted to order gravy that looked like vomit, I'm sure they would have had it.
I think Casey just quit the show. That was too far. You insulted his culture.
I did not grow up with that. So the first time I saw it, I was like,
Oh,
no, man.
I made
I'm all
biscuits
set.
and gravy casserole this last weekend.
and I had it once and was like, you know what? I kind of get it. I don't ever want to eat this again, though. I don't wanna do it.
It's good.
It's okay to be wrong.
All right, let's revisit my top 10 here. I am putting this at number 6.
Okay.
Respectable.
Creating a horny movie duo between
Yeah.
Love Lies Bleeding at 5 and Strange Darling at 6.
The horny horror movie is back this year, and I love to see
Thank
it.
God.
I'm
It's been
delighted.
so long.
It's like the year of being down bad, you know?
I don't
So-
usually talk about my list.
What?
Is it
This
horny?
one's good to go to the top.
Wow.
Casey's holding back his
I was impressed.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Coming out
to
strong.
see-
I am
it.
doing something. I'm swapping Longlegs and Alien Romulus. I'm putting Longlegs back to my number 1.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's starting to come out in the wash here. I'm starting to feel it out.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Mine's starting to settle.
Yeah. ISS John number 9, in case you were wondering.
Clinging to
Remember
life.
when do you remember when the only thing I had on it was Night Swim?
I
Look
do.
how far. Look, how,
Yeah.
Yeah.
look at us.
It was
I feel like
funny.
there
There
needs
was,
to be like an in memoriam segment with like forlorn music.
Yeah.
I could
At
cut
the
a
year-end.
supercut of just me talking about Night Swim.
Yes, we need that like over like a Sarah McLachlan joint. Just
This
like
is
in
the
the arms of
this
an
is
angel.
the reason why people should support us on Patreon. Because if I could do this for my full-time job, that is exactly what I would be doing.
yeah.
Okay.
The amount of production that would go in would be high. I think I saw, and I'm curious, maybe Rachel, you're aware of this. There's a new horror-ish movie on Netflix that was like hitting. I saw it like popping up on Letterboxd, and the reason I bring it up is because one of the actors is the dude from ISS, who's like, I think ends up being the good Russian. He's like not the evil one. He was the bearded one.
The good Russian.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is
I
it?
liked him.
Is it What's Inside, or what is the movie you're thinking of? Because that's the new Netflix horror film that Netflix paid like $17 million for, and then did
That's
no
high.
press for, like did no marketing. I got like
Yeah.
nothing about it.
Stand by. Hold on. It is. Oh yeah, it's What's Inside. That's what it's called.
Yeah, people are saying it's like a good double feature with bodies. So
It's funny because the genres it's listed in under in Letterboxd, it's science fiction, comedy, then horror.
yeah,
I mean, I'm down to watch it. We've got a bunch of open weeks coming up, so I guess we'll see.
yeah.
But
I've heard good things about it. I have not had time to watch it myself, but I've heard good things.
I always I'm always a little hesitant to like look something up on Letterboxd because then you see the score. It's like it's so prominent right there, and you're like, all right, I guess I know where this is headed, but
Then you have to become a contrarian on site. I understand.
Casey,
no.
sir,
Usually I'm like, yeah, it's probably accurate.
Casey, we're ready for threads anytime.
All right, we got 2 threads out there. The first one from Roger.Lee.
Sorry, stop for a second. Can I since Rachel's laughing at me.
Podcast Daddy has spoken. We're moving
At least
on.
twice a show, I completely zone out. It doesn't matter what's happening, I do it.
That's it.
And then I go,
Feels like
I
more.
listen. When I listen to our show, I'll hear an exchange between like John and Rachel and be like, "Oh, that was really funny," and I just jumped in and was like, "Moving on." I want you to know that eventually, given time, I see you, but maybe not in the moment. So I apologize.
Eric, we know it's happening when it's happening. Don't
Oh no,
worry.
I
Yeah.
understand. Okay, Casey, go ahead.
All right, first one's from Roger.Lee. Did y'all know Ed Begley has a line of earth-friendly cleaning and personal care products? The wrinkle spray is magical.
Wrinkle spray.
Relevant
What's
to
the-
my interests.
What's the brand called?
Wrinkle
Wait, is it for
spray?
clothes or your
Clothing?
face?
He says friendly cleaning and personal care. So maybe skin
Right.
wrinkles.
That's what I'm saying. Which is it?
It's called The Substance, and
Yeah.
you have to call him. But
All right, our other thread, our good buddy Popcorn.Designs. Have you ever had a night this wild in a motel room? Are you legally allowed to answer? I can't say I've had one that wild, but I've
Not
had
that wild.
in college. Colleen and I drove from Terre Haute up to Indy to go for the weekend in college. For like, we're gonna fuck off, go play around in the big city. Got a Motel 6 on the south side and checked in. Pulled the blankets back on the bed and saw blood stains. And then looked up and saw a bullet hole on the wall over the headboard. We're like, nope.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Read the question again. I missed it. I'm here now.
All right. Have you ever had a night this wild in a motel room? Are you legally allowed to answer?
No, but I'll tell you what I do. I check every hotel for bed bugs.
Smart.
Oh, yeah.
I learned once
Very
how to do it, and I check all the places, and then I still don't feel comfortable until I'm home, and I'm sure that I'm fine.
I'm good after doing a sweep.
There was that Airbnb that we stayed in, the BGH boys in Milwaukee, that had a fireplace, and the back of the fireplace was glass.
Yes.
And it looked right into Schnarz's room.
yeah, no bed bugs in there.
Yeah.
I think that
Hell
was
of a show,
was
though.
That was Milwaukee. I think you're right.
Yeah, it was.
I had
Because Chicago,
one-
we had that sick, like, triple decker or whatever.
That sounds awesome. I had one crazy, crazy night in a hotel that I probably can't tell the story on here, but I will tell you it involved duffel bags of cocaine, pimps, spears, and the last thing I saw before I passed out was someone giving someone a non-consensual lap dance. It was very grindy, and everybody would look like they were having a very bad time.
Oh, my
Oh
Lord.
boy.
Did you forget where you put the duffel bags of coke like you did the dildos?
They were not mine. No,
Okay.
no. I give you a closer track of my duffel bags of cocaine than my Franken dildo.
Also, only people on the pre-show heard that, so I'm sure most people are wondering what you're talking about.
Call back to the pre-show. Patreon.
That's what Patreon's for.
I don't even. There was like one person. Only one of the listeners I think knows the Franken dildo story now. So you are the supreme, Renee. You are the supreme.
Renee is the key holder.
Yes.
All right,
that
that's
it?
it for threads.
Jesus. I'm tired.
Were you zoning out again?
Yes. Okay.
He's gone again.
Oh, good Lord. Did Ed Begley Jr. overdo it with that much butter? Yeah, dude. You know what you need to make some eggs, a little bit of olive oil. That's it.
To John's point, have you ever cooked in a cast iron skillet?
I'm way too fucking lazy to maintain cast iron. Like, I don't
That's
care
the
that
problem.
much.
Yeah.
Give
never,
me,
and I'm
give me
like,
the
is it
forever
clean?
chemicals and the microplastics, and let my eggs just slide to freedom.
You can just get stainless steel, man. Like then and Suzanne uses avocado oil. She switched to
I'm gonna be able
avocado
to do
oil.
this and just see. The stainless steel. I was watching a thing recently showing exactly how you do it, like heat it up properly so it doesn't stick.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot of work too. If I'm being honest.
No, well,
Also
you still
can't
use an
put
oil.
water
or,
in it. How do you
fat.
keep it clean? How is it not dirty? I don't
I get-
understand.
I
You
get
can put
more-
water on it, but you got to
No,
dry
no,
it
no,
off
okay,
right away.
okay. This is
Oh, the
no, no.
cast iron?
You can put
That's
water
different.
and you can use soap on a cast iron. This is like a common misconception.
I was told you're not supposed
No.
to because you have to season it.
False. Many people think that seasoning means leaving the shit on it. That is disgusting and not the right answer.
Correct.
Seasoning is the
Gross.
process of oiling the pan and you heat it at very high temperatures and it
Yes.
actually it actually sets in the pan.
Yeah.
Then it will wear off over time and you redo it. I used to think the same thing because I feel like that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people thought.
Well, I mean, growing up, there was the cast iron skillet that I was not allowed to touch because it had been seasoned and like you never wash it and it's
that's
like
disgusting.
supposedly
No, that's not right.
antibacterial. And I don't believe that. There's a
Absolutely not.
reason that, lifespans were shorter in the 1800s and everybody was eating out of cast iron.
Well, we use water and we use we got like a chainmail washcloth thing that you scrub it down with and then rinse it out, wipe it down with towels and dry it off.
Porous. It's porous. I don't
The
understand.
heat
I just
kills
feel...
the stuff, though.
Yeah.
Like, it gets hot enough. I mean, whatever. It's a lot.
And the
Too much
se-
work. It's too much
and the
thought.
seasoning, Colleen gets a thing. It comes, it's a special oil, and it comes in what looks like a deodorant stick. She squeezes some out, rubs it down, and then throws it in the oven on high heat.
Yeah. You know what I want to do right after I make my eggs? I want to fucking eat them, not go like maintain a pan.
You can wait a little and then.
Yeah, you can wait a while.
After you eat.
I
it's
do
fine.
need a new nonstick pan because I'm definitely just taking like bad shit to the dome right now.
You
but, like,
just get a stainless steel, man. Come
John,
on.
don't pressure me, John. Consent.
Well, you just need
okay?
one. It'll last you basically the rest of your life.
This is
Especially at the
very
rate you're
funny.
going with these
Mr.
eggs.
Snuffleupagus. Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Jace, I created a Threads account. I didn't want to because Eric skips most of my emails in case he skipped my thread. Hashtag devastated.
I didn't see his thread.
If you're emailing me, dude, I'm not getting them. So hit us up on
Jace,
Instagram.
I just want to tell you, after the show airs, they all say how they purposely skipped it and they all laugh
Rachel,
at you.
That is. Come on. Come
Renee
on.
says that pre-show is worth every
Female
penny of my time.
Yeah. And if you didn't like that joke, my name is Matilda.
I will sometimes skip questions. No, your name is other contributor. I will skip questions if somebody already asked them. Like sometimes the funny jokes are obvious and 10 people say the same thing, so I have to just pick one. But I'm not skipping anything on purpose.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's not much better than what I said, but okay.
And I'm sorry, Jace. I'm only seeing the 2 replies on
Also, I
the Bloody Good
literally-
Horror post.
I closed my phone.
You're blocked.
It's still not showing.
Yeah.
I love this, but would it be better in chronological order? No, I think.
I don't think so.
This is Michael asking,
I hear you though, Asker,
John.
and
this
aware.
is Michael
Representation
asking-
matters.
yes.
Next up is Michael asking a troll question because he wants to hear us talk about it. What is the worst kink? I don't think we kink shame, my friends.
Yeah.
As long as
None of
it's
my
all
business.
I mean,
consented.
there's definitely some that
There's
I
a
kink
couple, I
ask
mean-
why. You know what I mean? I'm not shaming, but I'm kink asking why.
That's what I was. So here's the thing. This is not a shame thing, but like we were looking at Halloween costumes with the kids last night on
Was there
Amazon.
a cage?
I'm so excited
No.
to see where this is going.
But like you put in, so one of the girls wants to be a cat, and so we're
Oh,
like,
no.
great, cat mask, and we're like pulling up these fucking animal masks. They're 100% being used by adults for sex stuff.
They're just
Like,
furries. Yeah.
yeah, they're like, and I'm like, I don't want. My kids don't know that, so it's fine. I don't like need to get into it with them. But like, any of the kinks that like touch on shit that kids do gets a little. That's whatever. You can like. Especially when you have kids that are around, it's like, I don't know. a
It's
little
weird though, John, because like
You can do whatever you want.
that's
just by
what
the way,
every
with consenting
cartoon
adults, so.
animal character looked like when we were kids. which literally created furries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, but it was innocent then, theoretically.
I mean, they're pretty mascot-y, right? I mean, I went to like an underground Google gay kick furry party once, and it was kind of cute. They were just like my stuffed animals rolling around on the floor.
What is your life, Rachel? Amazing. All right, here we go. Jace, do you guys feel like your number one is fairly locked in, or do you think something upcoming is going to take it over?
It's gonna be hard to beat the Substance.
I don't have the ability to perceive anything happening beyond like 48 hours. So
Yeah.
who knows?
I am also feeling good that it's locked in.
I think it would take. I would call Long Legs a like 75% lock for me. It's not set in stone. Like something could blow me away, but it would take a lot.
I'll be honest, I don't pay that close attention to upcoming movies, so I honestly couldn't tell you.
I mean, Nosferatu, maybe. I don't think just because of the Robert Eggers of it all. Like, there's a
Yeah.
chance, but I just don't think anybody like.
They're not doing any
She
marketing
threw
for
up
this
a
thing yet.
boob. Like, I don't know that you can beat that.
Is that your number one? I like it.
I think so.
Two more questions. Is this film good enough to survive that horrendous French toast concoction?
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. But it wasn't. They were pancakes.
I would eat that. Like, I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
Have you guys?
that
Have I
much
sent
butter
you
would-
pictures of my breakfast at my mom's house? That's not that far
I have
off.
seen. Yes, I have seen. pictures. That much butter would kill me, and it wouldn't take very long.
Although, like, don't they like deep fry sticks of butter in the Midwest? Isn't that a thing? Like butter on a stick?
They deep fry everything, and that's not a euphemism.
This is the land of the free, the home of the brave.
I mean, there's news stories for the state fair every year, the Indiana State Fair, on what new things are being fried.
Ooh, what's
Every
being
year.
fried this year?
I don't remember
what's the
this
hot
year.
goss on the fried? Oh,
You know, my
Casey.
favorite thing is it's like Rachel's talking about furry parties, and Casey's learning, and now Rachel's learning about fairy.
About Midwest
right.
food.
This is like a wonderful
Find you a
connection we're
podcast that
making
can
here.
do both.
Yes. We're educational.
Yes. God, you are too wholesome for this world, Casey, and I should be put in prison. And if Trump wins, I probably will be.
Rachel's seen some shit.
Oh, boy.
I mean, y'all think what you
it's
want,
true.
but I guarantee you I'm not a prude.
I mean, you made a whole ass human. We know you're
Yeah.
up to some shenanigans.
Casey's had sex at least once.
I just
Okay,
keep my
guys?
stuff to myself.
All right. Does who? This is a good one from Paulie. Does who produces this is the last one? Does who produces a movie influence your opinion of it at all? I think yes, but I don't think it's black and white. It can go both ways. Like it can be sometimes if it's like a filmmaker you really love, that can really make you go in with goodwill and that helps the experience. On the other hand, if it's someone that you're really hyped up for, that can create maybe like too much hype sometimes. Like the
Yeah.
next Jordan Peele horror film has got a lot to fucking live up to. In that case, it's almost a burden, I feel like, at
Yeah.
the point that he's at. The same thing goes the other way. Like, if I go in and I know it's a Rob Zombie movie, I might go in just like ready to fucking hate it. Or I might just be like, this is going to be trash. And if I get any enjoyment out of it, great.
It's
I
only
think the
minor
answer
trash.
is yes,
You're
but it
excited.
depends on like what personally you're bringing to that.
Well, I didn't know if this was a question about the specific role of the producer versus, like, you're answering as if it's like the writer, director, whomever. Like,
Anybody. But yeah, I'm
Sure.
answering if it's creative, the creative people, not the like actors.
yeah. Well, like the producer, like Giovanni Ribisi is like a producer on this movie as well as the cinematographer. Does
He's
that
the
like
best.
influence?
John, I missed
love
that
him,
actually.
yeah.
Have you ever seen The Gift?
Yeah.
First The Gift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
He
Like
is-
Yes.
06, 05, something
No,
like that.
it was like early 2000s.
It's the Sam Raimi.
That is
directed.
0605.
Yeah, I was like, what? How much earlier?
That's the mid 2000s, John. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Well, let's look this up.
2006 is not the early 2000s, okay?
Wait,
it
well,
came
yeah,
out in
anything like-
2000.
You round up. Yeah.
That's
right?
the fucking the early
It's got
2000s.
It's got what's her name in it? Oh, it looks like it was
Blanchett,
2000.
Katie Holmes.
Katie
2006
Holmes,
is
that's what I
early
was thinking.
2000s if words don't have meanings anymore.
It was in 2000. You're right.
Yeah, it was Katie Holmes, Greg Kinnear, Giovanni
Keanu
Ribisi,
Reeves.
Kate Blanchett, Keanu
Kate
Reeves.
Blanchett.
It's an incredible
It's so
movie.
good.
It's a wild cast, yeah.
Have you not seen
It's
it?
so good.
No, I have, but I just
Keanu
like
Reeves
forgot
plays
that
like
all
an
of these people
overweight
are in it.
alcoholic redneck. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Anyway, I don't remember how we got on the. Oh, Giovanni Ribisi, yeah. And with actors, I think for me, it doesn't really. Certainly, a great performance can sway me, but going in, I know like an actor can put in an amazing performance, and if the creative team isn't there, it's not going to matter, right? So like,
Yeah.
I don't get as excited for an actor as I do for like a Jordan Peele or
Yeah.
a director that I love. You know.
I get hyped for directors. I mean, and then
Yeah.
I get excited when the directors also pick interesting people to be in the movie. Like back years ago when the word on the street that Corley was going to do The Substance and Demi Moore was in it, I was like, oh, that is really interesting.
Because the
But just-
director
yeah.
is the nexus of everything.
Yeah.
So like they are working with the writer. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to interpret the writer's vision. They're going to interpret the producer's vision. They're going to work directly with the editor. So it's like that's why the director's like the linchpin.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is a director's medium for sure.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Except Jay says in this podcast, Rachel is the demon and Casey is the lady.
Which means he's actually
The killer.
the killer, and I'm
never guessed.
innocent.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is
Threw us
still
off
waters.
the whole time.
Still waters run deep.
There you go.
Oh,
We
yeah,
gotta
these
stop.
waters
Okay.
are not very still.
What is I believe I mean we haven't looked at our theaters, but this week is supposed to be Terrifier 3.
Correct. It is being released this week. I think I read 2,300 theaters.
That's a lot. That's gotta
Yeah,
be playing
yeah.
again, right? Yeah. That's wild. The first film was the first film theatrical at all? I don't think so.
I mean, it might have gotten like.
And then the
there, you
second
know.
one I remember had like a very limited run around Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I got it here. I got it in Noble Tucky, so you should
what
be
a
good there.
story, John. John, imagine Terrifier 3 becomes my number one.
Oh my God,
Imagine.
Eric, the pod might not survive. I think I told you guys that was like the biggest attraction at the con I was at a couple weeks back. They had the actress from 2. I can't remember her name.
Lauren
Oh,
LeVay.
I might have missed it already, but
She was-
Oh no,
She was
in-
in the like costume, like the angel
yeah.
whatever costume.
In December, that local theater around here that I went to see Fabio Frizzi at, they're screening Terrifier 3 right around Christmas, and she's going to be there.
Don't.
Take the fam.
Better go.
For Christmas.
I'm probably going to
Come along, children. The holidays are upon us. It is, isn't it like Christmassy or something? Didn't
Yep.
somebody say
There
that?
was it said at Christmas. There was. Did you see the controversy this week, Rachel? That
I-
there was a screening that a bunch of marketing started coming out of, where they were saying half the audience left,
Yes.
somebody vomited, and then it came out that they didn't tell the audience what it was and just said it's an upcoming Christmas film, and a bunch of people went thinking it was that rock Santa
Yeah.
Claus bullshit.
The red one or whatever.
The red-
Kinda
yeah, the red
fucked
one.
up. I'm gonna go on record and
That's
say
not
don't
good.
trick people into watching Terrifier 3.
No.
That's
It is
really
fucked
bad.
up, but it's also, I don't know. The
It's
chaos
funny.
demon in me kind of laughed
Yeah.
when I heard it.
It's not. but
Rachel's
this
in the
is-
game. She gets it. She's
Rachel.
Got 'em.
Consent.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
You
guess
should
that
have
is
to
a movie that requires consent.
You should have
they
to
couldn't
consent
let,
to
like,
have
kids
Terrifier
go.
3 happen to you.
They had to
Well,
tell
the
him it
red
was like
one,
an
I think
R-rated
it-
movie.
it
or
is,
it's
yeah.
NC-17, I think, technically.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
They were like, "You're gonna see an NC-17 holiday film." Like,
Isn't that the
like,
one with J.K. Simmons and he's like jacked? Yeah,
That's weird.
that's a little R-rated.
I first saw him in Oz, and it's like I as great as an actor as he is, like I just can't stop seeing him as Schillinger. It's just
Yeah.
imprinted on my brain.
Who?
in Oz?
J.K. Simmons. He's like the leader of the Nazis in the prison.
Oh, I
and,
never watched
like,
that show.
He's super rapey, and it's
Yeah,
just like now. And then he goes on, and he's like in Spider-Man movies, and I'm like,
Whoa.
no.
Rachel, you had
You know
not
what's so funny?
expect-
We have such opposite polls for him. I think of Juno.
Ooh boy.
guys. Did none of you watch
gonna be
Law and Order in
upset.
the like early 90s? He
I
was
mean,
like a
it is-
staple.
Law and Order?
Honestly,
Yeah,
it's
in
like
the
a s-
originals, like the first couple seasons.
It is the soundtrack of my mother's home. Like if when I think
Oz?
of
Yeah, no. Law and Order. Like,
Law and Order.
if my
Yeah.
mother's home had a soundtrack, it would be dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Like, but I never like really.
You got to
watched
cut it after like season 15, though, in my opinion. I haven't
Jeez Louise.
stayed that current, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It was very weird. I was like sitting next to my mom's hospital bed this week. I know this is a fun way to end the show, but when she was like watching SVU, I was like working and hearing about like child kidnapping and semen.
Dude,
I'm
SVU
like,
is
what?
like
It's deranged.
Deranged.
The first couple seasons of that also
I
were
didn't
decent,
consent to
and then
that.
it went like
That's
way
my
off the rails.
you
terrifier.
didn't consent to SVU.
Yeah.
No.
Not many have.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of the point.
All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for the show. Let's should be Terrifier 3. Let's do it. Tis the season. Hope you enjoyed the show. Go listen to Hi-Fi, John.
Spooky.
Oh wait,
Ghost.
John, you listened to my album
I did.
almost exactly 1 month to the day after it came out.
Tell us what you think track by track. We'll wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a very nice time. I had a good time. I was saying to you all, like, look, Eric, I don't listen to music. Like, this is like start from I don't listen to music unless I'm in the car with my children. So you can imagine what that does to
we
your
are not
Spotify
living the same
playlist.
life, John.
No, but
Well,
when
when Eric puts out his Kids Bop album, it's going to
Yeah.
be a banger.
when I'm trying to like lock in though, and like if I've got to like write out a document or I'm like working in a spreadsheet, I'm like I need some music, but I need it to be something that is like I like the vibes. I love vibes music,
Like a
and
hi-fi.
you delivered. Yeah, you delivered.
Thanks, buddy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket.
I downloaded it on my phone. Like I've listened. Here's what I'll say. You can take this however you want. It's my favorite of your albums because I've listened to the other ones. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Make me blush, John.
Well, here we are.
All right. That's going to do it for the show. And we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.